a problem here. And it's more than just Alvin streaming Punisher. When life begins to suck, who's reporting it? Luckily, you got two friends who you won't forget. Coming live, Alvin and Fran on survival. Laughing non-stop, case drops on a cycle. Louder than intrusive thoughts off an iPhone. How they make the world seem bright with the lights off. AFs, it might as well stay up. Lies being told like that dinosaur BS. Magnifying glass to the ground if they don't see us. Having the time, roasting your favorite pizza. Bougie ain't an option, it's the wage. Take it to the grave, add moving to the place. You already know when they take the case. Laugh the pain away, it's affirmative murder.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Affirmative Murder, the equal opportunity true crime comedy podcast. I am boiling with rage, and I am also Alvin Williams, joined as always by my partner in true crime, Francel Evans.
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Yeah, man, I'm the mailman. Can't you tell, man? Gonna post it.
What up? I'm signaling to you that I can hear it.
Oh, you can hear it?
Yes.
Okay, I have no idea.
So
you can hear it?
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, well, we'll see how if that can affect us positively later. There's something wrong with my Wi-Fi. Don't feel like going into it. It's really pissing me off. Fran, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm not as upset as you are because my internet is working.
Yes, must be nice.
You seem to have the internet issues all the time on your end, but other than that, I'm doing well. Work is picking up. Should we still get back into what we was getting?
Sure, let's just keep it rolling, bro. Fran, okay. How's work going?
Work is picking up. I did want to speak on that the package volume is picking up. We got like 2.5, 3 weeks.
Until the big day.
Christmas. And to the big day, and Temu has like blown up tremendously. And that's mostly all that we deliver at this point is Temu and Amazon. I mean, that is it.
Those are the two juggernauts for sure. I think Temu might be a scam, but I can't prove it. I just don't know anywhere where you can get Richard Mille watch, baby clothes, and Legos. There's nothing you can't get on Temu.
Yeah, it's not just like a younger audience. I mean, like it's older people that go in there and buy stuff. I mean, like it's having the run similar to Wish, but I think it might top Wish at this point because Wish was huge too. But I think the stuff that they have,
the range,
quality, maybe.
Yeah, the range, and I would say the quality is only slightly better in my experience.
For sure. Yeah.
But it is better, and also Temu's whole system is set up like a game. Like if you order now, so you can get Temu bucks and all these crazy systems, slot machines.
Yeah.
It's insanity. So Temu is on a real tear, setting up for global domination and probably the end of the world. Because I can imagine that anything that's that cheap, we just haven't figured the catch out yet. Yeah. There's some kind of catch. I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of catch.
Yeah. And shipping is like 2 weeks. You gotta order stuff like a month ago. Like I mean, I've ordered some stuff from there, and like I ordered like 4 things. And I was like, damn, this shit is cheap. Mm-hmm. And like I maybe only have one thing still out of the 4 things that I bought.
Oh,
I was like, this shit is. I was like, I don't need it.
My Temu love has fallen, but when I was ordering from Temu, I would order it and it would take so long to come that I would forget. So it was almost like like special gifts that I would get. Like it would. Oh, no way, bro. Can you hear me?
I can still hear you, bro. Don't even go about it. I can still hear you.
Oh my God, I'm gonna punch this computer in the face. You know this is funny. This actually is a perfect segue. It's almost like the universe is teeing me up to talk about this movie.
I mean, like you're singing, so I'm gonna go ahead and snap this.
You're gonna do what?
I'm gonna snap this picture because it's like you're singing. It's like you in like full high note hitting notes, like singing right now.
Yeah, you look like nothing because your screen has gone black on my screen. I hate Comcast Xfinity with a passion. Don't ever ask to be a sponsor on this podcast ever in your life. I wish you would call me and talk to me about sponsorship opportunities. Anyway,
okay, you're back. You're back on my end. But go ahead.
Cool. Leave the World Behind. The Netflix movie, the newest installment in movies that I like to categorize as, was it good or were you just confused the whole time? This joins the ranks of The Happening, The Crazies, any M. Night Shyamalan movie, really, any of them, and take your pick, and it's one of those. Do you have any Bird Box? Do you know what I'm talking about, friend? These movies where you go, what the hell is going on? The world is ended, but we can't really figure.
It has I feel like all of them have the same premise in a way. Was like the world is coming to an end, but it's like kind of distracting you with something
But
else.
why? But why is it? Yeah.
I guess it's like I'm guessing it's like they're going to put this in the back of your head, so you're like constantly thinking about it the whole movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I did look at a quick synopsis of the movie on YouTube, so I got an idea of what the movie is about and the similarities between that movie and other movies. And I'm like, okay. And then it was getting a lot of stuff going on social media where it was like people hated it. So I would love to hear your thoughts on it because I know you're much of a movie savant. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I don't want to approach it from some kind of a movie savant angle because I don't want to be pretentious about it. The movie was entertaining. There were really good things about the movie. Mahershala Ali is in it. Julia Roberts is in it. I know you don't know who that is, but she is a really big deal.
I do know who that is.
Okay. Anyway, Julia
know her.
Julia Roberts is in it. Ethan Hawke is in it.
Doctor Strange is in it.
No, he's not.
That's not Doctor Strange.
No, that's Benedict Cumberbatch. That's Ethan Hawke.
they got the same like hairstyle.
They have
like a
the
very
same
distinct hairstyle.
weaselly white guy, handsome,
Yeah,
but also kind of look like
That's
they
not the
might be
same
homeless.
person?
No, that's Ethan Hawke.
Okay. I know
Footloose,
Kate
Footloose
Bacon's
is in it. Yeah, Kevin Bacon's in it. And the movie has really good moments. Here's my issue with the movie, Fran. The movie posits too many different things. Are the animals? Is it aliens? Is there some kind of sickness going around? And there's all these things happening. And then when you finally get the idea of what it could be, you don't even know that for sure. So the whole thing is kind of like about trusting people and coming together in the moment of uncertainty and being able to trust your neighbors and the people around you, and how we as a people are not equipped for that kind of situation because we're all anti and skeptical and cynical and nobody trusts anybody. My issue with the movie is it takes so long to get to that point, and it shows you so many different. It tries to throw you off so much that by the time they tell you what the thing is, you're like, but that's not enough.
So it's a slow build up.
It's a slow buildup, and then there's all these things that are happening that when they finally tell you what it is, and even when they tell you what it is, it's not for sure.
Okay.
That you're like, well, if this is what it is, then why did they show me this? And what about this dude's teeth falling out? There's a moment where this dude's teeth falls out. Like after a day, you're like, all of his teeth fall out, and you go, so is it like a biological warfare? And then that's not it, according to how the movie tells you. So I guess the point is that you don't really know what's happening, but the important thing is to come together, and we don't do that. The movie doesn't do that. Okay. And that's kind of the point. Like the point is something bad's happening. We don't know what's going on, but we got to trust each other as a nation, and the nation doesn't do that. And I think that's the main point. So what's happening doesn't really matter. But my issue is, then just tell me what's happening in the beginning if you want. Let us as the audience know what's going on so that we can now focus on all the subtle racism and the not trusting people elements that are happening in the movie. Because in the movie, that stuff's landing of not trusting, but you're more focused on like, why are these deer coming? And what's up with this? And is this aliens? Why do they keep showing us the satellites in the sky? And why is this noise? There's a noise that's happening in the movie, this like high frequency pitch, and you're like, so what's that mean? So you kind of lose sight of they just want you to focus on the interpersonal relationships of the movie. I thought the movie was fine. See, this movie is a real issue for me because this movie is Illuminati conspiracy theory entry level stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's people that'll watch this and be like, see, they're always trying to put the breadcrumbs right in front of you, and you won't even. People are sleeping on the movie. They didn't see the messages. It's like, these are not messages, bro. This movie's right in your face. This is not a allegory for the dark hands of the world. This movie's right in your face. But people who like you didn't go down the YouTube conspiracy rabbit hole in 2011. So you might watch this and go, oh, I see. They're trying to tell us something. They want us to wake up. No, this is just a movie. People will look at this and be like, it was produced by the Obamas. What's going on? What is the meaning of this? What did the Obamas not want us to know? I think it's just a coincidence, bro. I don't think that it's important to look into that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama produced the movie. But the movie is interesting. I just think that there were some parts of it that I didn't think landed very well, and that was my issue. But there were some really good parts about it.
Who was the writer and who wrote the movie? Who was the
book? The movie's a book.
It's a book. Okay.
I also had a lot of people. The book. You should read the book. People. I want to be respectful when I say this because there are listeners. Those people. They get on my nerves because it's every movie. Any movie that comes out, they're like, well, if you like the movie, you got to read the book. And I'm like, I'm not gonna read a 1,000-page book when this movie that is 90 minutes long is right here. But they're like, yeah, but they don't even flush out the characters. And let me tell anybody this, and this might be more of an indictment on me. There is not a book on this planet that can flush out a character better than me seeing it with my own eyes. My imagination and my brain is not that good. So if this is not the character that they describe in the book, me reading the book is not going to make me see the character better because my brain doesn't work that way. I got to see him. This movie definitely falls into the category of you're doing a little too much. You're trying to be too mysterious and not letting us see what's going on. And now it's been 40 minutes and I don't really know what's going on. And the other thing about this movie is it's very stylish, which when you're confused and the director's like, now we're going to do an aerial shot and spin the camera around in circles right now. Yeah. And so now I'm confused and you're trying to do little slick 360 and one alley-oop dunks behind the back passes with the camera. Yeah, I'm like, it was like, all right, man, listen, I don't even know what's going on in the storyline of the movie, so you don't need to be trying to do the Penny Hardaway dribbles with the camera as well. Like we're gonna make this whole room emerald green and then do a close-up on the pen, and the pen is brown, and the contrast. And we don't need to do that. You need to focus on telling me what the hell is going on.
Right.
This movie's giving me vertigo because the camera's doing all this crazy stuff. It's making my head hurt. I got to drink apple juice in the middle of watching the movie because I'm getting queasy. And I don't know what's going on, so I'm confused, and now I'm dizzy and scared.
But, I mean, what's the more important part? The ending, though. I know I don't want to get too deep. I don't want to be spoilers, nothing like that, but...
So the ending, again, right in your face to me. The movie, there's a girl in the movie, a little girl, who it brought it all around to me because her iPad doesn't work for the whole movie. And she's been watching Friends. She's like 9 years old, but she just found out about Friends. So she's watching she's watching Friends, and then the iPad stops working. And the whole time, like I said, man, there's all these crazy noises happening. The deer are coming out of the woods. Her brother's teeth starts falling out of his mouth. She's like, well, when is the internet going to come back on? I mean, it's crazy shit going on. The windows are breaking. Like, it's crazy shit going on. She's like, I need to watch the last episode of Friends, though.
Yeah. So
the movie ends. The little girl finds this bunker in a house. The deer lead her to the house, which I don't even get into the deer, but the deer lead her to the house. She goes down into the basement. It's this presidential bunker with its own independent power source, and they don't have Wi-Fi because they got everything on DVD. She finds the DVD collection of Friends, finds the last season of Friends, pops in the last CD, and
she happens to find the last season.
They have every DVD that has ever existed, and they had the episode of Friends that she couldn't stream because they had the DVD collection.
I was about to say, they just happen to have...
No, not a DVD with just that one episode.
No, I mean, like, they have, like, a couple, like, 10 DVDs, but they just have...
No, they have, like... Remember when DVD... Yeah, you remember when you had, like, a DVD wall in your house? Like, it was one of those. Right. They had one of those. They had 1 million DVDs. Blue Streak, Big Mama's House, they had every DVD. Yeah. And they also had all the Friends collection. So she pops in the last episode of Friends, and... Again, keep in mind all this stuff is happening. We find out there's like war. The country has collapsed. And the last 10 seconds of this movie is this girl popping in the DVD, clicking on the DVD extra screen, clicks to the last episode of Friends, and you get, now no one told you life was gonna be this way. And then the movie fades to black.
Wow. That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Now, again, I say that it's right in your face because to me that means she's watching Friends. The people in the movie at first weren't friends, but then they become friends as they have to go through this ordeal together. And it's like, we became friends. Stop. So I think them picking Friends was like this. They thought it was this clever little thing because it is about being friends and being neighbors and looking out for each other. And in the face of this horrible situation, if we were to do that, we would be fine. But when you're just watching a movie for the first time and you've been confused and then you don't really like how things were going that much, but you still have the things that you're like, okay, if this plane lands, I can walk away from this movie and go, it was cool, I liked it. And then that's how it ends. So I was pissed off because I was like, there was some stuff that I liked about this movie. And if the movie would have ended in a way that I felt satisfied, I would have been like, you know what? It was cool. I'll give it a solid 7.5, 8, maybe a 7, maybe a 7.5. But when the last scene is a little girl watching Friends, I'm like, fuck this movie. I'll never watch this movie again.
Okay, I got a request. If anybody has read the book, send in a quick synopsis of the book, Tales from Your Hood, because I want to.
Yeah, how do things go in the book? Yeah, how do things go in the book? Maybe it's better in the book.
I would love to know. Make it quick, concise. What happened in the book? Is it the same, similar? What's the difference?
Let me tell you something about book people, Fran. It ain't gonna be quick and it ain't gonna be concise.
Right.
I'm like, and then you
Figure
get to
it
chapter
out.
15.
Put it in. Hey, use ChatGPT. They'll put it in there and they'll do it for you. Just put in some quick notes and let them do it. Maybe ChatGPT can help you out with the book. Maybe they know the book. I don't know, but
yeah, tell ChatGPT to summarize.
Yeah, I would love to know what happens in the book, because I would hope the ending, when people go, you should read the book. I'm guessing, I always assume that the book was better than the movie. I assume the book ending is 10 times better than the movie.
I would hope
so. Yeah.
You know something? I'll never find out. So unless somebody comes and brings the synopsis, I'm not gonna read the book of the movie I just watched and didn't really like that much.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, folks. January 15, 2024, Fran and I are going on our first. We're not going anywhere. Oh, I got the wrong sound effects up. Man, it is a great day for technical difficulties today. Fran and I are doing our first live show. Yeah, Fran and I are doing our first live show. Tickets are going at a great pace. I would say get them soonish. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say they're going to be sold out before you know it. There's a good chance they'll be sold out before the date, though. Like, they're moving at a good pace, so you still have time. I know it's Christmas time. People are spending money on gifts for people. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to put you in a jam. But if you would like to come and you're waiting for the good time, and go at a good pace. But also keep in mind the tickets are going pretty steadily, and I think they will be sold out before the show. So I just want to give people the heads up. I'm not going to sit here and they're going fast. They're selling like hotcakes. The tickets are selling good. I'm very happy with the way that they're selling. But I want to let people know, if you sleep, you might miss a slot. So I'm just telling people, have a sense of urgency in a sense. If you're waiting until after Christmas, I would say wait till the day after Christmas or the check after Christmas. Get the tickets, because don't miss out. It's gonna be a fun time. Fran, how are you feeling as we get closer and closer to the date? What's happening? What is the feeling of Fran right now?
Oh, the feeling of Fran, anxiousness, anxiety. Yeah, I'm excited though.
Good. I'm glad. That's how I wanted to be. I wanted to be sweaty pit, but in a good way. Yeah, shout out to Madison McGee, who's going to be our co-host for the evening from the amazing Ice Cold Case. You may remember she came on a podcast episode that we did recently and kind of talked us through what it's like trying to solve a murder on your own. She's like the real life Only Murders in the Building, but it's her dad. So really captivating story that Madison has. I'm really looking forward to her coming into our town and being on a show with us, and us doing a great fun night with our fans and I can't believe I used that word, our listeners, and having a good time bringing in the new year. So I'm really looking forward to that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break while I punch my laptop for a couple seconds and then recompose myself and get back into the fucked up shit. So stick around. Thank you very much. Affirmative Murder is brought to you by Factor. The holiday season is a beautiful time, but very chaotic. And if you're looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep that energy at its peak for all the stressful running around that is in your very near future, then you should try Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. Factor can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You're going to save time, you're going to eat well, and you're going to stay on track with all your healthy lifestyle choices while also taking care of your holiday to-do list. Skip the stress of meal prepping over the holidays with Factor. Choose from over 35 weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never frozen meals that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences. All delivered right to your door and ready to eat in 2 minutes. This is convenience and deliciousness you just don't want to miss. So head over to factormeals.com/AMP50 and use the promo code AMP50 to get 50% off. Again, that's factormeals.com/AMP50. And that promo code is AMP50. Use it and get 50% off. One last time, that's Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. Affirmative Murder is brought to you by Greenlight. I'm online a lot, and I feel like I'm always running across different parenting techniques for teaching kids the responsibilities of money. Whether it's chore bucks, inaccessible piggy banks, or even those magic wallets where you flip it one way and the dollar's there, you flip it the other way, the dollar's gone. That encourages kids to put money into something. But if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, I have a life-saving recommendation that you need to check out. Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families. It gives kids and teens easy and fun ways to gain financial literacy while giving parents peace of mind. The app includes a chores feature where you can set up recurring one-time chores customized to your family's needs and reward kids for a job well done. Fran and I are currently in the process of turning his kids into financial wizards who also know the value of a dollar. The app also comes with games that teach kids money skills in a fun and memorable way. So if you've got young kids and those birthday cards are starting to thicken up with that cash money, it might be time for you to sign up for Greenlight. So why not do it today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/AMP. That's right, greenlight.com/A, M as in money, P, to try Greenlight for free. All right, happy and responsible spending. All right, and we are back. Fran, would you like to, I don't know how far you got into research before I called you and hit you with the Audible.
Right. It did, like, I got what I can get. I think I got most of the story, and I got my thoughts on some things. But I got the whole story. But it was
okay.
I did had to, like, trying to rush it a little bit because I thought we was doing something else, and like you said, you hit me. We kind of pivoted. So, but the thing, what the funny thing was, after you called me, I get on Twitter and it pops up on my time. I haven't heard anything about this story. Haven't seen anything. Then you call me and I get on Twitter and it pops up on my timeline. I went, wow, they listening to us, man.
We're never alone. Big Brothers everywhere.
I might write me a movie. What's going on?
Yeah, you need to write your own Leave the World Behind.
Yeah.
But I would say same. Like in the last 24 to 36 hours, this story has come up on my feed a lot on TikTok and Twitter and everything. And it gave me so many parallels to things that we've seen already just in the last 10 years, just in society and the way that the world is. And also kind of talking about Leave the World Behind and friends and society and trusting people and not trusting people. It all everything is kind of synergistic this episode. So first off, we're going to break down what vigilantism is. Mm-hmm. Before we even talk about what our story is, we're going to break down what vigilantism is. So, Fran, some people might have the question of like, what is a vigilante? Right? And a vigilante is a self-appointed doer of justice, particularly when the processes of law are viewed as inadequate. Their activities often involve tracking down and confronting suspected offenders. A few key elements that motivate vigilantes, and I will be using comic book and movie characters to drive my point home because I'm 7 years old. So please be ready, Fran. Some of these you probably will know. Some of them, I think you'll know all of them. And I'm pretty sure you've seen any movie that I've said. I'm going to say that pretty confidently, because these are good movies, and I know that they're like universally good movies. So, one motivation for a vigilante can be injustice and desire for revenge. This is perfectly depicted in the Gerard Butler movie, Law Abiding Citizen. Gerard Butler's family is killed very brutally by two people in the movie at the beginning. They go to court, they go to trial. The prosecutor takes a plea from the defense to give them like 15 years in prison. Mm-hmm. When Gerard Butler is like, they killed my family, they should get the death penalty or at least the rest of their life in prison. And Jamie Foxx, who's the prosecutor in the movie, goes, hey man, listen, we could go to trial and we could lose. So they got justice. They're going to prison. That's enough. And Gerard Butler's like, if you would have gone and fought for my family, I would have been okay with any of the outcome. But the fact that you just took a plea, you didn't even go to court, I'm taking this shit into my own hands. He almost burns the whole city down. He kills the judge. He was talking about killing the president. This dude was like, the whole justice system is screwed, so I'm taking the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Now, he went a little too far. But Law Abiding Citizen is one of those movies where you're like, when you're like 30 minutes in, you're like, right on, man. And then when he's like, I'm going to kill the governor, you're like, whoa, okay, well, all right, whoa. You're like a villain now. At some point, he loses the plot in the movie, and then you go, yeah, they got to end this dude. He's off the rails. So sometimes vigilantes can go too far.
We talked about that movie. I haven't seen it, but I know we talked about it a couple.
You haven't seen Law Abiding Citizen?
No, I've never seen it.
Highly recommend, Fran. I promise you would love.
You told me this before. You told me this.
Fran,
I don't know where to watch it. I gotta look it up.
You would love Law Abiding Citizen. I promise. There's not many things I can promise you about movies. Sometimes I'm like, I read it wrong. I thought Fran was gonna like this one. I promise you, if you watch this movie, it will be one of your favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
I just think it's right up your alley. I think it's right up your alley. It will be one of you. If you watch this movie one time, you'll be like, oh, I love that. 10 years later, you'll be like, oh, one of my favorite movies is Law Abiding Citizen. I would bet money. I would bet money on this. So anyway, injustice and desire for revenge can be one motive for a vigilante. Another motive can be empowerment. And to me, friend, this reason feels kind of villainous because it's about the vigilante gaining a sense of control and a psychological high from feeling like they're succeeding and making a difference where the law is failing. This is perfectly depicted to me in Robert De Niro's Taxi Driver. See, in Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro's this taxi driver in New York. He's just driving around New York. He's seeing people selling drugs and being sex workers and just robbing people. He's like, this world is so corrupt and disgusting, and I hate it. And nobody does anything to him. He just feels like, I'm going to change this shit. Nobody else has the balls to do what needs to be done. And this motherfucker buys a gun and is like, I'm going to start killing people that I think are bad. I'm going to start cleaning up the streets. And he goes out and he does that. Now, that is not... The only motive there is like self-righteousness. Like, I feel like I'm better than these disgusting people and I'm going to get rid of them. Some real life examples that we see of this, it's happening at an alarming rate. It's like starting to uptick, but people are out there killing homeless people. I remember a couple years ago, there was a guy that he was like a realtor and there was like unhoused people living in front of the building and he killed one of them. Yeah.
But, I mean, like the city's not doing anything about homelessness and they shouldn't.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to take care of this because this neighborhood deserves to be nice and pretty. And these people that I deem as not nice and pretty are here and I'm going to make them gone for the good of the community. Another motive can be risk-taking behavior. I'm going to say this, Fran. I feel like we definitely saw this in the movie theater. Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. If you don't know, go find out immediately. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to anybody who's listening who hasn't seen Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass is such a thrill ride, and everybody in the movie who is a vigilante in that movie, their only motive kind of, for the most part, seems to be, because this shit is fun. It's so violent. Yeah. Oh, it's so violent and crazy. I love Kick-Ass, man. Chloe Grace Moretz in that movie, she's like 7 years old, but she is like a knife expert, and her dad's Nicolas Cage. It's like crazy, but that's very... Like, I'm doing this because I get a thrill out of fucking the violence and running into burning buildings. And, like, that's the risk-taking aspect of being a vigilante. Now, here's one of the most popular...
It's crazy, though, but go ahead. I know
Say it again?
Like, I said having no powers and doing that is wild.
Oh, yeah, just being a dude in some clothes you made?
Just some bullshit costume?
Yeah, like Blank Man? Being Blank Man? Like, really being Blank Man in real life. You got on some pajamas and... You took some latex gloves and put them on a boxing mitt and like, come on, man. You put a boxing mitt on a spring. Like, sir, I have a Desert Eagle. I'm gonna rob this bank. You're like, what if I put pine sol all over the floor? I'm a vigilante. Yeah. You're gonna slip on it. It's like, I'm gonna shoot your face off of you. So, thrill seeking can go bad in a lot of ways. Now, one of the most popularly depicted elements of being a vigilante, this one is right here, is psychological trauma. This is when vigilantes will have experienced victimization and a sense of powerlessness in the past. And then that vigilante is often trying to use vengeance as a way of coping with their trauma. This is the arc of just about any superhero that you can think of. Most famously, I would say Batman. He's probably the character that comes to mind when anybody thinks of when I'm talking about psychological trauma. Batman is a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, quadrillionaire, who goes around spending all of his money and destroying his body when he should just call BetterHelp. You miss your parents. You feel like you didn't do enough to help them. And so now you're like breaking the backs of people who steal Chico sticks from the grocery store. You're just going extreme. You're going a little too far. You need to go and talk to somebody about your issues. It's his own stuff that he's got going on that he's taking out on the world.
Right.
He's going around beating people up. He's like, you killed my mom. It's like, dude, I'm stealing a bike.
Whatever you're doing as criminal, you got something to do with my parents being killed.
A criminal who stole a bike grew up to become a criminal who killed my mom. You're like, you broke my nose. He's saying all this while he's just beating this. So anyway, I said all that to bring us around to the story of Hannah Payne. Fran and I alluded to it. It's been going viral. It's an absolutely insane story. And when I heard about it, I was like, Fran, listen, drop what we're talking about. We got to talk about this one because it brings up so much imagery of things that have happened in our lifetimes. Where you're talking about Trayvon Martin. We're talking about Ahmaud Arbery. Like, these are things that have happened recently where people are taking the law into their own hands and people are dying for offenses that, one, are never really brought fully to fruition because they've been enacted upon by a person who's you're just a person. And two, being taken to the extreme. Let's say Trayvon Martin was going around and throwing eggs at people's houses or being a bad kid or whatever you want to call it. Then the police are supposed to come and arrest him and take him to his house and tell his parents that he's being bad and he's being truant or whatever. And then you go to juvenile detention or whatever. He's not supposed to die. Let's say Ahmaud Arbery, again, let's say he wasn't running and he was stealing hammers out of somebody's tool shed. So he should be dead? And the Hannah Payne story is another entry in these vigilante, taking the law into their own hands people, and I felt like it needed to be talked about because it's absolutely insane. Anyway, so at around 6 p.m. on May 7th, 2019, 62-year-old Kenneth Herring was driving his Dodge pickup truck when he ran a red light and hit an 18-wheeler. Luckily, both parties survived, which is crazy. You hit a fucking 18-wheeler truck and you survive. Good on you, right? But his truck was pretty messed up, and so was the 18-wheeler. The drivers pulled over and were waiting for the police to arrive. The accident was witnessed by two other people who pulled over to help: Hannah Payne and an off-duty officer with the Georgia Department of Corrections named Terry Robinson. Now, Terry actually worked in the infirmary of the local Georgia prison that he was a correctional officer at, and his expertise informed him that Herring appeared to be disoriented. He felt like, accident aside, he's not all here right now. Something's off with him, right? Mm-hmm. It was later reported that Herring's eyes looked to be a reddish orange color, and his family is out here publicly saying that they are pretty certain that he was having a diabetic emergency and was on the way to the hospital. Yeah. Obviously, we'll never know where he was headed to, but to get into an accident with an 18-wheeler and then still the car's smoking, we'll get into all of it, but I just want to paint the scene. This wasn't a deadly crash, but the car was messed up and it was smoking. And whether if you don't have insurance or anything, it still feels kind of extreme in that situation to try to get away, right? Anyway, but again, that's not an offense that's punishable by death. Mm-hmm. Just to make that clear, being a hit and run is not a death penalty offense. I will continue. Hannah Payne and Terry Robinson stayed at the scene with both drivers for about 20 minutes, waiting for the police to arrive, when Herring returned to his vehicle and left the scene. Robinson allegedly encouraged Payne to follow Herring after he left the scene so that she could get his tag number. Now, I want to play a little clip right here.
Get out the road, sir. Get out the road. Hurry up. What's the tag number? Red Dakota, front end damage to his Red Dakota. Did you get a picture of the driver license? Tag. Oh, man. Let's get out the road. Get out the road. He's headed towards Riverdale Road, heading towards 285 area. Riverdale Road. He's heading west on Forest Parkway towards the area. Okay, good. Go. Now the other driver who was she's going to take a picture of the yeah, he's fled. He's an African American.
All right, so for people who might not have heard, I think this is a very important part of why this case went the way that it went. So in that clip, they play the police phone call from Terry Robinson, right, Fran? Mm-hmm. And he's explaining that the driver just fled the scene. And he's talking to somebody else at the scene who is Hannah Payne. And in that clip, he's going, yeah, he's fleeing. Okay, good, go. That's Terry Robinson's. I think that exchange is Hannah Payne saying, I'm going to go get in my car. I'm going to go follow him. And he goes, okay, good, go. And then he relays to the dispatcher, yeah, the person who was also at the scene, she just went to go follow him so she could get his tag number. In his mind, he had no thoughts of anything beyond she's just going to go trail him a bit so she can see his plate and write it down. Right?
But you're not supposed to do that at all, though, right?
You're not supposed to follow up. No.
Yeah,
you're not even supposed to.
So it's even like, why would he give her the go ahead to do that? I feel like he should know not to do that.
As an officer,
because it could not be, obviously it's not safe. And in that case, why wouldn't he go? Why when he's not the one that trailed him?
Right. There are some reports from, again, her defense is her defense, but Hannah Payne alleges that her and the truck driver were like, this guy's kind of trying to take over the scene. Like, he's being very much, not aggressive, but being very much like, let's make a perimeter. All right, guys, what's the situation? Because he has some experience in law enforcement. Now, that is, right. I would think that qualifies him to he should be the lead of the scene.
Right.
But Hannah Payne is very much while she's on the stand, she's very much painting it like me and the truck driver were like, what's up with this guy? We kind of know what's happening. Like it was an accident. Very, very much undermining him. Mm-hmm. But allegedly that's kind of, so I think maybe in his mind, he's like, I'm going to hold the scene down. My partner, who is another witness, I'm going to send her on that. That's a light job for her to do while I control the scene.
Or maybe
he's probably out there waving traffic.
Yeah. Or maybe there's some jealousy involved, and I don't know if this came out, and it's the kind of case is kind of closed right now, but if she has some type of history of wanting to be, or like did some early training of like being an officer or something like that, and when he came and had that authority and kind of took over, where she got like maybe a little jealous because she wanted to do that.
I think based on what you just said, I think it's important to note that this is Hannah Payne, just to be clear, is just some person. She has no background in law enforcement. She is not a security guard. She was not a hall monitor. She does not rip tickets at the Cineplex. But her personality is very much that of a person who probably does long for some type of authority based on her actions that we'll get to. So I don't deny what you're saying, but I also just want to make it clear it's not like Hannah Payne is a qualified person who has any experience in anything.
But I mean, like, if you train doesn't make you a qualified person. I'm just saying somebody who has that desire or always has that desire which to want to like to be an officer.
I can't argue the desire part, but she didn't go to there's no application filled. I understand what you're saying. I just want to make it clear, like this is not a person who has a history in law enforcement or any kind of authoritative.
Yeah,
she has no background.
It would have been a surprise. I wouldn't have been surprised if that news came out. Was like, oh, she had history of being a security guard or something.
Mm-hmm. This is a person who she longs to be in charge. Yeah. It just is like her path, wherever office job she has, or I don't know where she works, but whatever she works, she's the person that's like, I'm on the party planning committee. Like, I think she's that kind of person.
Yeah.
I almost was dumb enough to say she's too young for me to think that she's racist, but that's just dumb to say. This girl could be racist as shit. I don't know. And like, she's 21 years. She was 21 years old at the time. Yeah,
she was 21.
She was 21 years old at the time of this. He was a 62-year-old man. And and I'm going to get into what happened, but when you think about her being a 21-year-old person, I understand like age doesn't matter, whatever, like somebody was wrong, but the authority in which she did what she did when we get to it is like, I would never think to treat a person that was my elder this way, regardless of what they did.
By the way, she looked older than 21.
Well, she's 25 now, if that helps you.
Oh,
she's 25 now.
That's right.
Yeah, so she's 25 now. She still looks a little 20. Yeah. She still doesn't look 25 either, but
I get
So, ironically, with however mad she was at what this guy Kenneth Herring had just done, Hannah caused all kinds of chaos, almost running drivers off the road, riding over medians, and more in pursuit of Herring. All while she was on the phone with a police dispatcher who urged her not to follow Herring.
Multiple times.
Four times. Her response to the dispatcher was, listen, I'm not going to not follow him because I think he's going to do another accident. So I'm doing dangerous Need for Speed, Fast and Furious driving to try to catch him.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm not listening to you.
Yeah. And since we at this part of the story, I might as well go ahead and kind of, we all know this term I'm about to use is very popular on social media, the videos, not to this extent most times, but we all know what a Karen is. And if anybody doesn't know what a Karen is, the slang term for, the term Karen is for an obnoxious, angry, entitled, and often racist, middle-aged white woman who uses her privilege to get her way or police other people's behaviors.
Yeah, she hit all the bingo card slots on this one. She's like a colossal Karen. She's like a Megazord Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, every bingo card on this one, because there's crying, there's calling the police, there's being nosy, there's overstepping your boundaries. She makes a citizen's arrest. She hits every Karen slot on the bingo card. Yeah, she wins Karen bingo.
And I mean, since the citizen's arrest is legal in Georgia, but I mean, you can't just. You can't.
No, you can't. You can't Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop, pull the car over, then roll over the hood of the car, and no, this was insane. It's not your job to go throw the spike strips down and on the highway, and this is she. Oh man, she went too far. So anyway,
and also with a citizen's arrest, by it being legal, like when a felony is committed, any private person acting upon a reasonable and probable ground of suspicion may apprehend a person suspected of the crime without a warrant. Maybe you can hold his shirt, maybe till it's the police officers get there, authorities or something. I don't know, but like running somebody down in a Jeep Wrangler is crazy.
It's way too far. That's kind of what I was saying. Where I'm like, listen, this probably meets the qualifications for a citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
But if you can't arrest the citizen, you got to step back. Like if I go to wrestle you, like, hey man, you can't steal from this ice cream shop, and you go, man, get the fuck up, and you throw me across the room, it's like, arrest failed.
Right.
If you tell the guy, hey man, take your keys out of the ignition, he goes, fuck you, bitch, which would be very mean. But like if he does that, it's like, well, I tried to citizen's arrest him, and now he's moving in a 4,000-pound car, and so it's up for the police to handle now, is what you should say.
Right. But also, it has to be a felony has to be committed, though. A hit and run is not a felony.
A hit and run is not a felony. That's the most. It's like, I hate that we have to qualify it, but it's important to note that Kenneth Herring did do something wrong.
Right.
But he should not be dead.
No.
Spoiler alert. Not. That's where this is going. One motorist who was a witness in the trial, her name was Ashley Jackson, said that Payne was speeding and almost ran her off the road. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, says that the witness, Hannah Payne, was weaving. So she says that the witness was weaving in and out of traffic, and once she got further up the road, Jackson says that she had seen that Payne's reckless driving had caused her to get into an accident.
Wow.
So this car speeds by her because nobody knows about this accident. So everybody's just like, who the fuck is this pink and black Jeep riding around crazy like this? That person's going to get into an accident. She rides past Ashley Jackson. When Ashley Jackson gets up the road, she goes, see, I knew it. That car was going to get into an accident. But, Fran, Hannah Payne, in fact, did not get into an accident. When Hannah caught up to Kenneth Herring, she pulled her Jeep Wrangler in front of him on a road that was like, it was a merging lane. Mm-hmm. So he was supposed to be getting over, and she like just cut him off and got out of. She gets out of the car after cutting him off, yelling all kind of obscenities at him, and
of course, yeah,
aggressive. I mean, she's like pissed. She's like pissed off at him and throwing fists into the driver's side window in what appeared to onlookers to be a physical altercation brought on by road rage. Because again, nobody knows anything about an accident in an 18-wheeler. They just see a car cut a person off, get out, yelling, cursing, and starts swinging and reaching into their car.
Yeah, like this is a whole different accident. Like this had nothing to do with something that happened prior to what's going on now.
Exactly. So if you're a person who sees this, you're like, what the hell is this crazy lady doing?
Right. It was like she was on a mission from like the president. Like the president sent her on a mission.
Yeah.
Like, you go, and she took it to the top. Took it to 100 and was like, oh no, this officer who has a badge gave me the direct order to do this. Oh no, I can't go back now.
In her mind, when Terry Robinson went, okay, go. In her mind, it went completely different. He was standing there. The 18-wheeler had blown up.
Yeah.
They both had soot on him. He's like, go.
She put the little old like 70s police lamp on top of her fucking hood of her her truck.
Pop, and there's just one red light swirling around, and she peeled wheels. Now I'm telling you, he just went, okay, yeah, go get the plates. He went, yeah, go get the plates, and she was like, I'm gonna go get him. This ends now. He's like, what?
Smoke and shit blowing up behind her and shit. No, that's crazy.
No, that shit went absolutely.
Movie.
No, she went way too far. So like I said, Hannah Payne then proceeds to pull out a gun and shoot Kenneth Herring, after which she allegedly said, now you need an ambulance. Now, this part right here is very important to me as well, because what I think this was a callback to the accident. Because there was some confusion. If you listen to the 911 call, there was some confusion on the 911 call from Terry Robinson to the dispatcher where she was like, does anybody need an ambulance? And there was kind of this like, sir, are you okay? You could hear him talking and everything. And I feel like Hannah Payne was also there, and they're both kind of asking him questions that he's not giving the answer to. One, because he might have been in medical distress. But even if we take away medical distress, let's just say Kenneth, let's just make him the real villain that she wants him to be, that Hannah Payne wants him to be. Let's say Kenneth Herring didn't have insurance. And Kenneth, it's very much possible that if Kenneth Herring wasn't like incapacitated in some kind of way, that he might have just been a little agitated at Hannah or Terry questioning him at the scene that he clearly wanted nothing to do with. And now you got people all in your face making it hot while you're contemplating doing the dash, right? So you know how, listen, I got a friend. I'm not gonna say his name. Les. I was in Key West. I was in Key West, and he knocked off somebody's side mirror on their car.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Was this a drunk
and it was
activity or?
Yeah, it was drunk activity. We were riding bikes because you can ride bikes in Key West. He knocks the mirror off the person's car. Nobody sees it. Another person that we were there with was like, well, we can't just leave. You knocked off their mirror. And Les was like, I don't give a fuck about, man, if you, because in my mind, I'm from Baltimore. So in my mind, I'm like, damn. Right, you know, like that's the
when somebody
right,
run,
but
you
this,
run. But
this person that other person that we were with didn't want to leave. And so we had to stick around. The person came out. Now he's got to pay for somebody's mirror. Now, was Les wrong? Yes. But I can fully understand somebody. Now you're mad because now you got to take responsibility for your actions when you were trying to leave. Yeah. So I'm saying, my point is that Kenneth Herring, I feel like she might have been like, do you need an ambulance? He's like, I don't need anything. Like, I just want to go. Like, everything's fine. Now this shit happens. She shoots him. And I think the tone of that, now you need an ambulance, was like, now you need an ambulance.
Right.
Now I know for sure you need an ambulance. You might not need an ambulance when you hit that person illegally, but you need one now. That's what I feel like the tone of that was.
Right.
And that's evil.
Yeah, there's some anger in that. Yeah, for sure.
So, Payne, in her defense, alleged that Herring revved his engine and attempted to run Payne over, which is the reason that she had to shoot him.
Sure. Yeah.
There are multiple eyewitnesses at the scene that say she got out of the car with her gun already visible.
Yeah.
His car had not hit her car before she ran over and started hitting him in the face. And she was in the window, not in front of the car, so he wouldn't have run her over. If she would have stopped reaching his car, he just would have drove away.
Yeah. Of
she was not in front of the car.
She had a gun. There was no threat she was scared of. She had the gun, so that gives you that feeling of protection where you like
that cowboy. It's that cowboy energy.
Yeah, like I'm in charge. I have this gun. I'm in charge. Whatever's about to happen. Nobody's a threat against me when I got this in my hand. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think her going on this little mission, GTA side mission she was doing.
No,
I don't think this happens.
I agree. If she doesn't have a gun on her waistband, I don't think she has the boldness to get in her car and follow somebody and chase them down. Because I think in your mind you go, what if they have a gun? But if you have a gun, you go, if they do have a gun, I got a gun too.
You don't know if you don't have that gun, you go, I'm not willing to chase after this person. I don't know what this person's capable of. But when you got the gun, you like, man, shit.
I know what I'm capable of.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So I fully agree. One thing that the prosecution brings up before we get to just jumping ahead a little bit, but while we're at the scene and still being able to visualize, while this scuffle is happening, he does rev his car and drive forward, and he hits her car. And after she shoots him, that's the first thing she says. And so the prosecution kind of is alleging that you shot him because he damaged your property. But your property was damaged because you cut him off in this weird citizen's arrest thing. So the idea that you got mad at him for hitting your car and you shot him.
Yeah. And
then now you're saying you were in fear for your life and you thought he was going to drag you down the road when you were the instigator. This is not self-defense. You're reaching into his car. Just stop. Just stop reaching into the car.
For her to go up there and say, it was like my life flashed before my eyes. I went, get the fuck out of here. And if I'm the family in court, I would have been like, the audacity for you to say something like that. Mm-hmm. When you have a gun and approach this man, and for all we know, he might not even try to get away. He might be like, man, I need to get to a hospital. I'll worry about the accident when I get to the hospital.
That's what's so important to note is like, we're just assuming he fled the scene. If his family is right and he was having a diabetic emergency, he's sitting at the scene for 20 minutes. He's like, man, listen, I'm starting to like lose vision in my eyes. Like, I gotta go. I don't have time. Catch me at the hospital and write my ticket, or whatever this is.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, I worry about that after I know I'm gonna still be alive.
Yeah. So he deserves just as much of the benefit of the doubt that was the scenario than he was a guy who didn't have insurance or didn't want to take responsibility for the accident. He's not here to defend himself, and he deserves just as much benefit of the doubt that he was in distress. And that's important. That we don't just criminalize him and go, well, he hit somebody. Not that it's justified, but I'm just saying, for us to just automatically go, he committed a crime, he hit somebody, and he's bad. No, he could have been in an emergency. If this was a woman that was pregnant in a car and she acted the same way, we'd be looking at it differently. Yeah. There was a baby coming. I got to get to the hospital. Deal with the insurance shit later. Anyway, officers responded to the scene, retrieved Hannah's gun without incident. Just very nicely handed it over and everything was fine. And found Kenneth Herring sitting in the front seat of his car, suffering from a gunshot wound to the abdomen. They rushed him to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead less than an hour later. According to prosecutors, Herring never got out of the truck, and his blood toxicology report showed no drugs or alcohol in his system. So there are people there. Hannah Payne and Terry Robinson both reported like, I think he might be intoxicated. Something's wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
Well, his blood. Go
ahead.
I was saying, well, his toxicology report came back negative, so even more evidence that something was wrong with this guy. And this is how he got treated.
In the article I saw, and I don't know how I'm saying this because I read this in the article, so I don't know if it's true. You can take it with a grain of salt, whatever. I don't know. But they were saying that in the article, it said that from body cam footage of an officer who kind of like went in the truck to check on. I don't know if it was to go check on Mr. Herring or it was after he was already taken out the vehicle that he went to go look around that they saw needles in the truck. So I don't know if that was some kind of being like, you know how they do. They did the same thing with God rest his soul. Put the knee to his neck. What's his name?
Oh, George Floyd.
George Floyd, when they news started coming out, like, oh, he was addicted to drugs or he was on drugs or something like that. That always seems to happen, even if it's true or not true, whatever. That news always comes up when somebody is killed like this. And
they gotta try to find the worst things.
Exactly, to make the person look back, to go for other people, for the masses to go, oh, see, well, maybe he, kind of deserved it. And it's like, that's not right.
They found an old rusty knife in his car too that they brought in as evidence, and the defense went, I know you didn't see this knife, but did you think that it was possible that when you saw him reaching under the chair that he was reaching for this knife? And she's like, yeah, I didn't know what it could have been. So it's like, so she didn't see the knife. You bring the knife in to go, well, he had a knife in the car, and did you think that when you saw him reaching for something while you were beating him in his own car, did you think? And if he was, you were punching him in his car with a gun.
Right.
What if he was grabbing a knife? And I have thoughts on that too. But what I will say also to the other thing that you said, hey, Fran, do you know what diabetic people need?
Insulin.
Do you know how insulin is injected into the bloodstream?
Needles.
So again, it's these people trying to paint these narratives, and if there was no drugs in the system, if the guy saw needles on his body cam and they don't say it was needles and heroin, then I got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt that I go, he's acting weird. His toxicology report comes back negative. Maybe he was having an incident and he couldn't administer his insulin while he was driving the car.
I mean, that's what I think.
Know.
But I mean, like, that's not what most people are going to go like, oh no, he was doing drugs.
Oh, people are going to go drugs. He's a heroin addict. He's a heroin addict who committed a crime. So fuck him. Like, that's what the defense is trying to do. He has needles in his car. This guy's a drug addict, and he hit somebody and left the scene. Who does that? A person with no character, no moral compass is who does that. A drug addict who hit somebody and fled the scene. So, like I said, his tox report came back negative, and again, as I keep saying, it's perfectly reasonable to infer that this 62-year-old man was in the middle of some kind of medical emergency or distress state. If we're gonna go try to do the other thing, if we're playing devil's advocate, that maybe he was doing drugs or whatever, we can play devil's advocate and say, hey man, maybe this guy needed his insulin and he was going to the hospital because he just maybe ran out of it or something. We don't know. Either way, he shouldn't be dead.
Exactly.
Either way, he shouldn't be dead, right?
Shouldn't be getting chased.
So that's
crazy.
Yes. So there's also cell phone footage taken from a witness at the scene in which Payne can be seen hitting Herring with her left hand while holding the gun in her right. The footage reportedly shows the gun going inside the vehicle, but it's not possible to see who pulled the trigger. And that leads us to the defense's argument, Fran. That's right. Just this past week, within the last 72 hours, 4 years after this horrific incident, the trial took place. The defense alleged that Kenneth Herring shot himself with the gun that was thrusted into his car after the woman stalked and cut him off. And Hannah Payne's team claimed self-defense.
Yep.
Right? So let's talk about self-defense, Fran. So Georgia is a stand your ground state. Now, in the circumstances of stand your ground, there is no duty to retreat from imminent danger before defending yourself or others. As long as the threat is reasonably imminent, you can use force to protect yourself without being required to first try to get away from the threat. Right? So you have every right to protect yourself in a situation where you think your life is in danger. However, You cannot claim self-defense if you were the initial aggressor. If you hit someone first and then they respond, or even if you taunted them into a situation that initiated the fight, it is not likely that you can claim self-defense. So even if you talk shit, I did this, that, and the third, you're a bitch. If that starts a fight, you might not be able to claim, if that starts a fight and you kill somebody in defending yourself after they, come and hit you, you still might not be able to claim self-defense if they can prove you baited that person into a fight.
Yeah.
But if you instigate a fight.
Also, Georgia is a concealed and open carry state.
Sure.
Because they say that he tried to grab her gun. And I go like, okay, well, if she had it visible, maybe he was trying to defend for his life. And if she had it concealed, then like, how would he know that she had a gun on it? Unless she, pulled it out.
Unless he saw it.
Yeah, unless he saw it.
She alleges that he was like, pull the trigger then, bitch. Like he had a death wish.
That's crazy.
Now, it's very crazy. But my other issue with the whole stand your ground thing is, why does Kenneth Herring not have just as much right to stand his ground as she does?
Right.
Why does she get to go, I thought my life was in danger. I was and I didn't, and I thought he was going to drive me down the road and he had my gun and you initiated this.
Yeah.
So I have just as much right to I have just as right to defend myself and stand my ground as you do. It just so happens that you came out on top. So what happens if you stand your ground and you lose? Shouldn't somebody go to jail? I was standing my ground. I was defending myself. I lost. So a now 25-year-old Payne, who was free out on $250,000 bond until the trial that took place this month. Yeah, it was $220,000.
How much she got?
She went to well, listen, this is one of the situations where they go, wait a minute, a beautiful angelic white woman killed some black dude? GoFundMe. Fox News. Yeah, it's crazy. She probably got like $1 million.
I'm not around. Crazy.
Yeah, it's like that Kyle Rittenhouse dude. It's like now he's like on Dancing with the Stars or something. Like it just so anyway.
How you come out and try to make money off? That's crazy. I don't even.
Like, so Kyle, you clapped a dude. What's it like to be an American hero? And so that's how she got that same treatment probably. And now she's been convicted and she probably will still get that treatment. Her family will receive money probably. Like this is going to help her family in some kind of way. They're patriots who saw something bad happening and decided not to let bad people exist in this country. They are what America stands for. Anyway, so she was out on bond until the trial. She went to trial and she faced 8 charges, including 2 counts of felony murder, 1 count of malice murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of false imprisonment, and 3 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, that felony being murder. After the prosecution and defense laid out their arguments, the jury deliberated for just 2 hours before they came back with a verdict. The jury found Payne guilty of felony murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and 3 charges of weapon possession during a crime.
Is there a minimum time for a jury deliberation or no?
No, but 2 hours is pretty quick. I feel like most people probably thought it was going to go the other way.
Yeah, I just want to know if it was like, is there like, oh, y'all got to take at least an hour when there's like, oh,
right, if they're like, there's like, they got like a sand timer. Yeah. They're like, time's up, guys. We need an answer now.
Yeah.
No, but 2 hours is like 2 hours is open and shut.
No, I mean like if they go in there and it's like we did it in 10 minutes, but it's like that's the judge. That's too fast. You got to at least be an hour.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I got you. Y'all making it look bad. Y'all got to sit in here for. They're like, we already know. Like while you're sitting in the chairs, but like you guys can dismiss.
Right.
We're gonna dismiss the jury to go deliberate. They're like, we can tell you right now. Like, nah, come on, man, don't do that. Y'all gonna make me lose my job as the judge. Y'all got to go back there and we're gonna bring some sandwiches, bring some Jersey Mikes.
Right.
Go eat some Jersey Mikes and then come back and do it. You can't just say it now. Yeah. You got to go deliberate for a little bit. So like I said, just 2 hours, they come back with the verdict. The jury found Payne guilty of all the charges that she was hit with, and the sentencing is expected to take place before Christmas, barring any delays. So she will be sentenced before Christmas, barring any kind of like request for an extension or a delay or anything like that. I am assuming, Fran, based on the charges that she had, that Hannah Payne will be sentenced to life in prison.
Okay, I was about to ask.
I mean, one of her charges is felony murder. Now, obviously, it's the judge's discretion, right? So the judge could go, you're young, you made a mistake, 25 years. But I think it's going to be life. I would ask you, like, so what are your thoughts on this situation, the trial? What do you think should be the result, like everything.
I think she should get life, like no question. Like you can't go hunting people down. Like it was like the Ahmaud Arbery story where it's just like you can't go chasing people down because you want to be this vigilante and kind of want to, like you said, take law into your own hands and kind of want to solve it yourself. To kind of be like, I don't know if you're chasing after being the hero. You kind of want that hero recognition, and you just take it too far, or what? But like, she should get life in prison. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Period.
Yeah, I agree, man. Very, very, very sad situation. The callousness of her was also very disappointing when you take it back to the Leave the World Behind movie and everything. You talk about your neighbor and, you know, if you think something's wrong with this person, even if you just go to he's drunk or something, the idea that your next instinct is to go chase them down and kill them is very disheartening for us as a society.
Yeah, and we can't even go. You know, what if you kind of start playing the what if game? Like, what if, you know, Kenneth Herring was white? Does she still chase him down? If she does chase that person down, is it with your gun? If you flashing your gun, or you cut like? Are you trying to cut them off to get them to stop, and you're attacking them? Like, all that comes into play. Like, are you going that extra mile if Kenneth Herring wasn't a black male?
Yeah, it's hard, man. He's an elderly person too, so it's like you would think maybe that would play a part in it, even black or not. It's like 62-year-old dude. Once you get in front of somebody that's 62 years old, I know black don't crack, but you're 21 years old looking at a 62-year-old person, I would think you would go, hey, man, like, you need to stop. Take the key. Like, try to reason with them. Like, you don't go to this person.
You don't have to do that. I think that thrill that she
shouldn't even have been down the road. Yeah,
right.
Least, yeah.
If you was going to go get the tag, and you go hit back and you turn, go back. But she just took it way too far. I don't know if it was just the thrill of it, where it's just like, I'm all in on this now, so I'm trailing behind them and stuff like that. You probably running red lights and all kinds of shit, putting other people's she made some other lady get into a car accident, put other people's life in danger because she won't be fucking acting crazy. Nah, man, nah. Put her ass in jail. Let her stay in there. But I won't be surprised if she didn't get life.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the judge uses his discretion and goes, I'm not going to give you life, but I'm going to give you 20 years, and you got to serve all 20, no parole or something like that. But I based on her charges, I would think she would get life in prison. So yeah, man, crazy stuff. Again,
they kill me when they crying in court too. They kill me with that.
Yes. Where was the crime when you went? You need an ambulance now?
Yeah,
he hit my car. You know, so I mean, I'm sure it changes you to take a life, but it's especially it's hard for me to see you crying when you're saying that he shot himself. And if that's her truth, then that's her truth. We weren't in the car. We don't know what anybody said, but it's kind of hard to believe. There's other witnesses that say that's the energy she came out of that car with was not, hey, sir, listen, I have a gun. Don't make me do this, please. Like, that's not, don't try to make it that now when everybody's saying you got out the car like big boss type of energy, right. Like, you know, Clint Eastwood type of energy. You got out of the car, slammed it, cut the fucking car off and get out of the fucking car. Yeah, like, that's not, yeah, so I'm not trying to hear this. Sir, I let him know, like, sir, I have a gun and I will use it. I don't want to have to, but don't make me. That's not how the eyewitnesses are saying the shit went. So anyway, man, rest in peace to Kenneth Herring. You know, whether it was a hit and run or whatever, nobody deserves to be killed for a traffic infraction. Right. So very extreme response to a low-level crime from a person who has no dog in the fight. Like, you weren't a law enforcement agent in any capacity, and you decided to take this crusade on and executed a person. So absolutely tragic. I have no sympathy for this person. I have no empathy for this person because I would never be this nosy in my life. This is nosy levels of epic proportion. Like, this is beyond nosy. But yeah, before we get out of here, folks, again, January 15th, 2024, Zim West Roadside Canteen, and we are selling tickets, and they are selling like some perfectly warm cake. So it's not an emergency, but I would say the cakes aren't exactly hot, but they are selling. So they're not hot, but they are definitely warm. Don't sleep on us. Like, the tickets are going, but they're not.
I think they're hot, man. I think you underselling it a little bit. I think they're hot.
That's true. Listen, the tickets are selling, but I don't want to trick people into thinking like, well, you can't get, they're sold out. Like, they're not sold out. There's still tickets available, but get on it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to let you know. Like, get on it.
Take a little trip.
Get on
nice little road trip.
Take a ride. Listen, I want to give a shout out. I don't have their name right now, but I read in the comments from one of our posts, somebody's coming down from Ohio.
Ooh, okay, nice little
That's
what?
love.
That's a nice little 5, 6, 7 hour drive.
That's like 5.5 hours drive,
Yeah.
man. That's love, man. I appreciate that. Anybody who's coming to make a drive for that night, January 15th, 2024, we appreciate you greatly. It's going to be a fun night featuring Madison McGee from Ice Cold Case. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be some good talks. Again, I don't know what Fran has in store. He might come through with a python wrapped around his neck. I don't know. He might recreate the Britney Spears VMA performance. I don't know what this guy is capable of. You have to see January 15th, 2024. Yes, be there or be square. Right, Fran? Remember that joke? I've been Alvin Williams, joined as always by my partner in true crime, Franco Evans, and we see you guys next week.
Deuces.